Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of my 30-year guitar journey. And I'm just going to go into more history of the bands I've been in, and then I'll talk about all the gear and guitars I've had and whatnot. So I left off talking about Birth of a Tragedy, moving out here to Albuquerque to sign to my stepdad's independent label called Eclectic Pankyland Productions. We were writing for that record, and we just couldn't see the three of us. It was me, Jeff, and the singer. We didn't have a drummer. We didn't have a bass player. We're like, you know what? Let's just get this demo out and see if we can find members out here. It never made it. It never got to that. I think we were really just trying to focus on adjusting to moving away and moving away and living, apart from everything we knew. I was in a long-distance relationship. I was supposed to get married to somebody. That didn't happen. Dealing with that and figuring out, okay, how do we pay our rent? How do we pay our bills? Where's the next where's the nearest grocery store? How do we get to work? And trying to get life in order. I know some bands, when they move out west, they're like, okay, let's just start playing music. We kind of did that, but once we got situated and we're writing music, it's like, yeah, we don't want to do the same thing anymore. So let's just cut our losses now and be friends and just decide if we want to live here or not and go back home or go wherever we want. Jamie, you'll see this. Jamie, you ended up, I think, going back home and then moving to Florida, where you became a performer, doing the awesome stuff you do. And Jeff and I started Vertigo Venus. It was, I believe, in 2003. So a good year of being out here, adjusting to life. I came out. The engagement I had was broken off. I came out to her before, but I officially came out to everybody here. There's a reason I didn't come out to anybody in Michigan. That Tortured Leper band specifically. We had a lot of homophobic members in the band. Why I put up with that and have it be around me, I still don't get to this day, especially since my brother is gay and me, you know what I mean? I don't know why did we put up with those people? We could have found other musicians. Why did we stick around with those people? Anyway. So yeah, adjusting to life here and then starting Vertigo Venus and getting members and going on until 2013 when it ended, when the scene died out here and our reputation was dragged through the mud and we were labeled as cheaters and cocky and arrogant and egotistical, mainly by other bands who didn't like how we were succeeding, because we were. We had endorsements with DiMarzio, Digitech, Davapix. Brian got a endorsement with D-Drum. We were going. We had deals at Hot Topic with no label support. This is all us. We were all DIY. And a lot of other bands thought that they were better than us, which some are and were and still are. We never said we were better than this band or that band. Just when certain musicians get more known in the local scene, other people get jealous and start hating you. That's just the nature of it. That's just the nature of the beast for that one. But you keep moving forward. But sadly, the band ended, and there was a good year that me, Jeff, and Jessica, and Eric did a band called Nexus Elementa, which is the complete flip of Vertigo Venus. Vertigo Venus, we had 2 3-minute, 4-minute songs that were punk industrial, and then Nexus Elementa was a goth band, like goth metal, groove, dance. We had 8 minutes. I think our longest song was 8.5 minutes. We had this is when we started using backing tracks for extra synth, extra guitar. There was that song in particular, there was dual solos. I was doing like a 8-finger tapping thing for the recording. No, I did that live because it looked awesome. And then I did this simple string stuff for the backing track. And sadly, I think we took a year off after Vertigo stopped to write and work on that band and polish it. And when we debuted, we were flawless. There were no mistakes. It was amazing, but I think people still wanted to hear Punk Rock Cheerleader and Shut Up and Die or Monday Morning, not as in Monday morning, but like morning, like sad. Everybody wanted to hear that, and we were so over that. Nexus did some stuff for a year. Then I got into Andraco. I think Nexus 2, I think people just didn't get it. And we were striking out on shows. The scene was changing. The scene was definitely changing. And we were the odd band out. We tried to play in our old scene. They didn't like us. We tried to break into new scenes. Nobody got us. Wrong place, wrong time. That's all. That's the tragedy of that band. It's wrong place, wrong time. And then I got into a band called Andraco. I did that for, I think, 2 years and quit for health reasons. And then I think after that, I just got into a deep depression. I didn't play guitar for 2 years. I mean, I picked it up, but I didn't write nothing. I wasn't in any bands. That's when I started playing Xbox a lot. This is when Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, so Online came out. I discovered the game Smite, and I just stopped playing. It didn't bring me joy anymore. Oh, and that time my stepdad and I had a band as well, the Mark and Key Experience. Don't want to forget that one. We had that the whole time Vertigo was going, and Nexus and Andraco, all that stuff. It's just my stepdad and I. Eric played a couple times, but I didn't play guitar. I just didn't do it, and I figured, you know what? Because my brother, he was doing his own thing. This is the first time also second time since we were children, not playing music together. The first time was when I was in Third World America. This is after Cryptic broke up. That was the name of the death metal band. How original. And then after Nexus stopped. That's the only time Jeff and I have never played music together. Maybe another time. Well, no, because I'm coming up to the current band. Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my memories here. So there was a good 2 years of playing video games, going to my job, hating it. Really sad that I didn't make it. Gave up. I gave up. I remember my husband, wife at the time, before he transitioned, saying how he hated seeing me playing video games all the time and raging out on the games like gamers do, like it's important. Saying how he doesn't like what I've become and blah blah blah, and I'm like, who am I playing music for? No one. I have zero desire to do it. I'm done. I sold a lot of my stuff. I kept a few things, obviously, but some of the instruments I held on to. I had some killer guitars that I used, I kept, but most of the gear I sold. I didn't care. I kept a few 7 strings. I didn't have any 6 strings at the time, except for this one. This one I didn't use because the tunability was ass. Still kind of is, but it's a lot better. But about 2 years went on, and then I got into Body Spartan in 2016, and that's when I started to get really into fitness and nutrition and whatnot. Still not into music. Still playing every now and then, but nothing. I wasn't writing. I wasn't playing live. I definitely wasn't doing this. Even though my channel now was the Vertigo Venus channel, I took it over when that band split up. It was dormant for about 6 years, and then Richie Byron and Gabby Tuft, inspired me to get back into music, because they both had YouTube channels. Richie needed music for his stuff, and I tried to become the Body Spartan music director, even though that wasn't a thing. But it got me into dusting off my stuff and getting the computer out and just getting back into it. And then I met Jesus Nunez, and got in a band with him and Antonio and Mitch and Scott, and we started the Extinction. And it was, I don't want to say Swedish death metal, but it was definitely metal. And it was funny because when I went to audition with Jesus, he knew who I was, being in the former bands, and he's like, "What are you doing here, man? This is a metal band. You play punk." I'm like, wait. Hold on a second there, buddy. busted out my 7-string and played some riffs. He's like, all right, fucking A. And then when I heard Antonio was in the band, I'm like, dude, sold. Like, oh my God. Like, I saw him play in a band called Aotic Ev. Holy shit, man. Antonio can still obviously destroy on drums, but when I saw him play for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I gotta figure out how to be in a band with this guy someday, somehow. Scott quit that band, and we needed a bass player, and I've always wanted to play bass. I think I don't have that video up anymore, but because it didn't get many, it got like 20 views. This will probably get the same, but this will stay up. I always wanted to play bass in a band because my motto is everyone plays guitar, everyone needs a bass player. So when Scott left the band, I took the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, guys? It's going to be easier for us to find a guitar player that can easily play our stuff. I already know the stuff. I just have to relearn it, how to play bass. And I started playing bass. I sold a lot of my guitar stuff to pay for bass gear. I'm talking stacks and different basses, pedals, and it was so much fun to do. I used my hands predominantly. I think one song I used a pick, so just diving in and learning how to do the 3-finger, 4-count trem picking, you know what I mean? Even the Brian Beller trem pick with the 2 fingers, I went in full on. And playing with Antonio was the best way to learn how to play bass. To lock in with someone as skilled and as efficient and just locked in as him, perfect. I ended up leaving that band. I'm not getting into why, but I ended up leaving that band and had a bunch of bass stuff and guitar stuff. And I was jumping in and out of bands as bass player. I played in Tripping Dogs, and then Blame It on Rebecca. Here comes the story. Tripping Dogs was actually Kenny from Vertigo Venus. It was his band with his friend Lee that they had back in like '88 in high school. And they were always a 2-piece. And I said, Kenny, hey man, I'm down to play bass if you guys ever want one. And went to audition, and him and Lee were like, fuck yeah. That was a lot of fun because I loved that band a lot. They were so killer, so amazing. Playing in that band was fun. Then I did Blame It on Rebecca, which was pop. That was very different for me. It was pop music, but I played it. And there was a time where Rebecca said, hey, I want to get a guitar player. Do you know anybody? I'm like, you know what? It'd be easier if I played guitar. It's a complete opposite of what The Extinction did. It'd be easier if I played guitar and have my brother play bass. Because there was a time in Vertigo Venus where Jeff played the bass. He had a grasp on it. And if you see up there, right there, that's a photo of me and him playing out at the fair back in 2000, I want to say 19. He's on bass, I'm on guitar. And KJ got in the band, and not too long after that show, sadly, there was a big old fight with mainly me and Rebecca. I ended up quitting. Very toxic, another toxic, I can't talk right now. Toxic situation, I had to get out. I tried to get out beforehand, but my brother, to his credit, was like, hey man, let's just try to work it out. We got a good thing going. And we did. We were in a all-female fronted lesbian pop band. And it was good, generally good music for what it's worth. But when we got a drummer and we were trying to, not convince Rebecca, but we were like, hey, let's write this as a band. Because we're all good. We can all write. We can all play. Let's do this. We were going to change the band name and do all sorts of stuff. And then we had the habit of doing shows with and without certain members. And there came a point where KJ couldn't do a string of shows because he was involved at the Albuquerque Little Theater. And I said, you know what, let's hold off on some shows until we get everybody here. And it just ended up being this big old fight. And then a lot of things were said to me by Rebecca and vice versa, that I was like, you know, I'm done with you. I'm done. I quit. And then Jeff quit immediately afterwards. And then Rebecca just messaged everyone saying, well, I'm assuming KJ is going to quit because blah, blah, blah. Not even talking to him about it. Granted, he was gonna, but the point is, she just assumed right away and kicked him out. We started Blue Jay and the Pigeons, and that's where we are today. So I think I might do a part 3 because I think there's a little more I want to talk about. I want to talk about the guitars that I've owned and the lessons I've learned, both being in those bands and what I've learned on guitar and whatnot. So we're gonna do part 3. Anyway, this is part 2. Basically, you just heard the story from 2002 to now. So Blue Jay is still going strong. Mark and I haven't played since I want to say July of 2022, 23, yeah. We've rehearsed every now and then, but we haven't played live since then. And then you guys may have heard I had a band with some friends here, Derek and Wes included, different Mark, called All the Rage. I decided for not health reasons, but healthy reasons to leave that group with my songs and my band name and do it my way. I got Antonio to do drums. We're gonna do internet thing, kind of like how Ola does Feared. If you're not familiar with Ola, he's a YouTuber. He's in The Haunted. He has his own band called Feared, not Fear, Feared. Feared's a fucking kick-ass punk band from the 70s and 60s. Feared is a Swedish death metal band that they do things on the internet. They make records, they do videos, that's it. They don't tour, they don't play live, nothing. Given the fact that Antonio, I think, is like 5 bands, and Blue Jay's going strong, I think it's easier to do it that way. I can write all the music my way. Antonio can easily drum to what I want. No hesitation there. I'm doing the bass. We just got to find a singer. And it can be any singer. It doesn't have to be one singer. It can be anybody. If there's any singers out there that have lyrics that, let's say you're in a band, that band doesn't like that certain song, or if you just can't find a band to put your words to, leave a comment or whatever. If you live here in town, Albuquerque, get at me, and let's make this happen. So that's All the Rage anyway. So technically, I'm in 3 bands. Mark and Key Experience, even though we haven't played live in 2 years now. Blue Jay and the Pigeons is the main band, of course, and the internet band, All the Rage. So yeah, this is it for part 2. We're gonna do part 3. I'm gonna go over the barrage of guitars that I've owned and amps and life lessons I learned in certain bands. So if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, hit that bell, go watch part 1. Stay tuned for part 3.